KDPG Sunday Edition.
Good morning and welcome to the KDPG Sunday Edition. I'm John Delano. It has been 2 years since medical marijuana became available to patients in Pennsylvania. Nearly 150,000 Pennsylvanians have been certified to purchase it, and more than $500 million has been sold. But a majority of Pennsylvania voters want more. A recent poll from Franklin and Marshall College found that 58% of Pennsylvania voters want marijuana to be legalized recreationally. Our guest this morning is now making that push in Harrisburg. State Representative Jake Wheatley, whose district includes parts of the city of Pittsburgh, has introduced an updated marijuana legalization bill. It would also expunge records for those with nonviolent marijuana offenses. Representative Wheatley, welcome to the KDPG Sunday Edition. It's always good to have you on the show.
Thank you for having me, John.
So, Jake, it's pretty clear Pennsylvanians want legalized marijuana?
Sure. I think Pennsylvanians have said to us overwhelmingly that the time is now for us to bring on a solution for adult use cannabis. I hope that my colleagues in General Assembly will take the advice of the 58% from that poll, and also the advice from the citizens who came out when the Lieutenant Governor went around and did the 67 county tour, and over 69% of those folks said it's time for us to really talk about an environment for adult use cannabis.
You know, adult use cannabis, is that just sort of the nice way of saying recreational marijuana?
Well, you know, marijuana as a term was really something that it seemed to be a derogatory term for some. So that's why in our bill we changed it from marijuana to cannabis. I wouldn't bore you and the viewers with the history of it, but I will tell you this. More and more citizens are saying that adults should have, when we talk about this, this is not to put it in the hands of youth. This is only for those 21 and above. And they believe that adults should have the decision or the ability to make the decision like they do for wine and spirits.
What do you think is the #1 reason to legalize marijuana in Pennsylvania, again, for adults?
I think because of the criminal justice, social justice aspect. I think irrespective of where you fall on the spectrum of should it be legal for adults, the fact that we have a medical program that's now legal, and that means people are making money, people are being able to ascertain cannabis in the legal market, but other people are going to jail and limiting their ability to have the high quality life. I think we should do something in that environment. I think that's important. I think the fact that we could potentially get $585 million new dollars into our general fund
by taxing
a product that's here already, that we have an illegal market right now, I think is important. I think the fact that if you have a competitive legal market, you can severely detour and diminish the illegal market, which frees up our criminal justice or our law enforcement budgets to go fight real crime and criminality. I think those are all justifications for why we should really seriously entertain this.
I think it's very interesting because you have really linked criminal justice reform with legalizing marijuana.
Sure.
And is that because so many people are in jail?
Sure.
Because of the use of marijuana?
Yeah, when you look at this, when you really look at the numbers, it surprised me when I found out. Most of the people who are in jail for marijuana-related or cannabis-related charges are in there for possession charges, not even for intent to distribute, not for intent to sell.
Just for having some weed on them.
And when you look at the amount that we're talking about, you're talking about, someone gave me this analogy, you're talking about 3 sweet and low packages that someone may have gotten caught with or possessing, holding, maybe even for using, and they're now in our prison system. And we think that's a real indication that we need to do something different.
Do you have a number on that, Jake?
52% is what we found.
52% of those in prison
on marijuana-related charges are in there for small amount possession charges.
Like a couple packets of...
Now, they might have other additional charges after that, but one of their primary charges is the possession charge.
Are these individuals disproportionately people of color?
For sure, and that's the other aspect to this. This whole failed war on drug policy where we thought we were making people feel safer, and I will tell you, John, most people don't feel safer as if this expenditure has been a success. We see that many times, 4 times as many people of color, black and brown, are in our correctional facility, but we know the utilization are almost equal. So there's no
Yeah, there are
difference
plenty of
in the
white
way.
folks using marijuana.
Right, but the ones that are going to jail seem to be the black and brown ones. And so we do see this as a really social and criminal justice major reform. It allows, under House Bill 2050, which is our bill, you would automatically, after 60 days of this law, this bill being passed to law, these people, not on their own behalf, but the Department of Correction and others would work through anyone who has a marijuana-related charge. Their charges would be expunged. They would be released from our prison system. As long as they didn't have any violence with their charges, they would be released from our prison system. Right. If they lost their driver's license or their professional licenses, they would be automatically returned. We think this really gives our citizens a chance to have a real second chance.
It really does. Do we know how many the folks in prison, the numbers that this would mean released? If
we
this were
do
passed?
not know definitively, but we think we think there.
We've got 46,000 people in Pennsylvania prisons right now, and it is costing taxpayers a heck of a lot of money to keep those people there.
You're correct.
So if a number of them were released through the passage and approval of your bill, I would presume that could reduce correctional costs. We
think it not only will reduce correctional costs, but we think if this bill went into effect, it would free up many of our local law enforcement's police budgets, because a lot of time and energy is going after targeting these low-level drug offenses when they really should be focusing on, I think, major crimes.
Yeah. So, where would you exactly be able to buy marijuana under your bill? Would you have to go to state licensed stores like we do with medical marijuana?
Certainly.
Could anybody could anyone open up a cannabis shop? I mean, how would that work under your proposal?
Sure. First, I want to say we have, I think, one of the best medical programs in the country. Right. We want to strengthen that. We think our program, we model out after the medical program, although we lessen the amount of entry that is required to come into our program. To get into a medical license is almost $200,000 a process or something like that. Right. Ours is significantly lower. We're talking $10,000, $2,500.
So anybody could apply.
The smaller entrepreneur, we make it very easy for smaller entrepreneurs to come into the market. Unlike in the medical program where you have to have, both be a grower and a processor. Ours, you could be just a grower. You can come for a grower or a processing license or a distribution license, which also lessens the cost of coming into the program. We also provide.
But you have to be approved and licensed.
You have to be approved
by a
and
state
licensed.
agency?
Yes. You just can't be anyone. But we do have home grow in ours, which we think is very important, even for the medical program, because it's still a federally illegal product. And so it's cash. You can't use insurance and so on. So for medical purposes, those who can't afford it, which actually is an access issue too, you find that less than 4% of folk that we saw are accessing the program are people of color. Well, part of it is the fact that you have to have pay a doctor $250, $275 cash money to be able to even be prescribed the utilization. So home grow would be very important.
Well, let me back up. Are you saying that African Americans are not using the medical marijuana program because of a barrier that involves cash and doctor certification?
So what happens is, and City Paper ran an article a couple months ago that talked about, in their study, those who were accessing the medical program. Out of their small study, they showed that less than 4% of African Americans were accessing. Now, there's a number of reasons for that, but one of the primary reasons that it is cash heavy. The other is where they are located, transportation. There's also this stigma barrier. There's also this barrier that people who have, who have gun owners, they don't necessarily want to have a conflict with the medical program. So all these things are a combination, and they all are questions of access.
So under your bill, You would be able to grow marijuana in your backyard for your own personal use?
Well, in your home, and there is a square footage that you would have to keep it on. It would only be for personal use. But we believe that is something that provides an opportunity for citizens who just want this product for their own use to not have to pay a lot of money.
I would worry a little bit about the backyard growing, whether that individual would then start to sell it unlicensed to others.
That would be illegal.
That would be illegal. So we only have a minute or so left, but Jake, what is the possibility that this state legislature would ever pass your bill?
Well, I think as long as citizens are demanding us to be responsive, that I'm hoping Speaker Terzai, Brian Cutler, and Representative Rapp, which is where this bill goes to our House Committee, Health Committee.
All Republicans.
All Republicans. I hope they are very attuned to the citizens' desire because, like you said, overwhelmingly, 58% from a recent study, 69% from the county tour from the Lieutenant Governor, all says that it's time for us to bring on adult use legalization.
Do we know where the governor is on this?
The governor has come out last year, came out and said he thinks the time is right for us to talk about and to bring on a legalization.
Yes, I know that, but what about your bill? Has he?
He hasn't weighed in on the bill. I think there are various options out there. I think what he's saying is, and this is what we're saying, let's have a conversation around what's the best Pennsylvania solution.
Right. And how about in the Senate? Do you have a Senate companion bill?
There's a Senate version, not exactly like ours, but Senator Dalen Leach and Sharif Street, they have House Bill 350, which is similar. And then there's another House Bill 1899, I think, is in the House as well. That uses the state stores to kind of distribute the product.
Ah, yes. I know there was this notion that state stores might sell.
Sure.
Personally, I think I like your approach.
We do too.
I'm not a big fan of state stores. So, well, Representative Jake Wheatley, thank you, sir, for coming in and sharing with us. It's always good information. Good luck on your efforts here.
I appreciate
it. I know we're going to have you back to give us an update as we move forward.
Thank you.
A good time for conversation on all of this. Thank you again for being with us.
problem.
We appreciate it. Coming up, it seems everyone is talking about the coronavirus, especially on Wall Street. We're going to take a closer look at the economic impact of the virus when the KDPG Sunday Edition continues. Stick with us.